Welcome to Espresso Jams, short, concentrated, delicious conversations about business, life, and more. And now, here's your host, Joe Matz.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Matz with Espresso Jams, and I am so honored today to have Lou and Sherri of the Lou Everett Group with us today. They are known for a very highly effective training and speaking and coaching, and speaking on especially on the importance of growth and how it influences us as leaders. They've got more than 4 decades of experience combined in training, coaching, leadership, and they've been trained by some of the best well known names out there, such as Zig Ziglar. There's a name from the past. We got Tony Robbins. They've been trained by Brian Tracy, John Maxwell, Jack Canfield, Paul Martinelli, and they are certified leadership coaches and corporate trainers. So let's welcome Lou and Sherri to the Espresso Jams. Hi, guys. Great to
Hey,
see you
Joe.
here.
Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, I'm so glad you made it here today. I mean, I've been talking with Sherri for a while. We're on Facebook and LinkedIn, and we're talking about communication. And she mentioned that you've got a speech that you do that are factors of communication. I probably have that wrong. Factors of connecting and communication. I kind of lump that in together.
Uh-huh.
My fault. But why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and we'll jump right into the topic.
No, thank you, Joe. Yeah, and you're right, because lumping in communication with connecting is actually the exact topic we talk about here. So that's perfect. But we are the Lou Everett Group. My wife, Sherri, and I, our passion is to transform today's leaders. And we do that in many ways, and particularly sharing our story and Sherri's story, what really caused us to really do this, which we could share another time. But our biggest focus is to transform today's leaders by executive level coaching, right? So we're actually get right down to the core of empowerment and coaching on the leadership perspective and growth, personal growth, business growth. And we do that in other ways as well. We have an add-on that we encourage other companies to do as well, and that is to bring us on in for corporate training, things like diversity and inclusion and things like that. So that is our space, and we are extremely happy for you to be here, and for you too, by the way. Congratulations on your podcast.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So let's get into factors of connecting. And it's such an odd world that we live in right now. And connecting was so much a face to face thing. And now it's face to face, but your faces are on a computer screen. And we're not in the same space. We are, but we're not. So it's so
Right.
strange. What can we get into here with connecting and communication?
Yeah, well, connecting is a big deal, especially with being virtual, right? There is an important piece of that. And we just talked about this topic on the 5 factors for connecting just the other day, just yesterday. We had a webinar on this. This was a part of it, right? So today we're at 5 factors, but we're probably just going to knock out 2. But if there's time, Joe, of course, we can knock out another one. It's completely up to you. But you see, the whole point really in communication is what makes it effective. And any powerful connectors over the years have used certain factors to make this happen. Connecting truly is the biggest effect on communication. I mean, you've heard of Stephen Covey, right?
Of course.
Right. And we talk about Zig Ziglar. Those are some of the most powerful communicators that we know, right? And so there are certain things specifically that they use to connect with people. So, yeah, like I said, we talk about 5, but we're going to go with 2. So, Sherri, why don't you knock out relationships? I think that's a big one, right?
It is,
I mean,
yeah.
relationships is a big part of connecting, having those relationships, right?
Right.
It's who you know.
It's all who you know. Yeah. So the first one that is that we talk about is relationships, right? And in a virtual world, it is all about relationships. It's we can't do we can, but in some moderation. But the face to face, okay. But there's still more. If it's face to face or virtual, there's still relationships. There's still that rapport building. So it is who you know. And a quick way to gain credibility with an individual or a group or an audience is relationships. And another thing too is, you got to borrow it from someone who has credibility with them.
Right.
And that's okay. We do
So
that with.
Are we talking about referrals when you talk about borrowing credibility?
Right. You borrow the credit. So in other words, by building your relationships, right, and you're building your kind of like a referral network, if you will, right? You're building relationships with people that are like-minded, like value. And then just like you, Joe, and just like, so we say, you know what, I know Sherry, they'll do the help me with the podcast, and we know this person, we help each other, right? And we borrow it from someone that has that credibility to build that relationship, and that connects with people. See, who you know can open the door for you to connect with someone. Now, we're not talking about politics here. We're talking about really building a relationship, right? We're talking about that building, that connecting with people of like-minded, like-valued, to build a relationships. So who you know is definitely the number one factor.
So it sounds like that's almost a shortcut to connecting with people, because building a relationship takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that a referral from someone who knows, likes, and trusts you, would you say that's kind of like a shortcut to building that relationship and that trust?
Yeah, I mean, a shortcut's a good word for it. I tend to use more of the word as a gateway, right?
Okay.
Because relationships take work. Sometimes we just have to be introduced to the right people to begin building that relationship, right? Because relationships, you need to build that. It does take time. But having that gateway, it's like having your front door. You have a front door to get into your house. I mean, you certainly can crawl through a window, right? But it's a little easier to just get through your front door, is it not? I mean, you don't want to move stuff. So to bring groceries home, you're not going to do it through your window. You can do it through your door. It's a lot easier because that's the gateway into your home. Same thing with relationships. There's easy ways and there's hard ways. Well, by building relationships with people that are like-minded, like-valued, they can introduce you to other people that can then be that gateway to help you connect with additional people that can open up those doors.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Yes, of course. Is there a particular way you would ask, say you know someone and I would like to be introduced to them? How might we go about that?
Yeah,
Oh,
Sherry's
I did
perfect
that.
at this. She's brilliant on doing introductions. So why don't you tackle that one?
Yeah. So, and through my experience of what I've learned through other people is through email, and it's not just an email. It started this
Like an
one
introduction,
person,
it's like an email intro.
email
Right.
introduction, right? And I thought that was great. It was just like, hey, so and so, I want you to meet Sherry and Lou, and it was just a couple of great sentences. And the reason I think you two would make a great connection because, and then in the second part of it was like to that person, like, hey, Sherry, I want you to introduce, introduce to so and so.
Yeah, could you introduce me to so and so? Right.
It was just a two-part. It was like from and who. I'm probably not explaining it right, but it's just to the two parties and giving them both a spotlight, and also the reason why they need to be connected, or you thought that would be a good connection because. And so I took that and I just took it up a notch and I learned, and I love giving the introductions to two people and give them spotlights. So I really kind of divulge that, other than, hey, here's so and so. Oh yeah, here's so and so. Voila. It
This
just
is
gives
so
a little bit.
rich.
Yeah.
I love the term spotlight. It's like,
Yeah.
to me, it's like the crema on top of the espresso.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? You can have the espresso, but if you have the crema,
Oh yeah, it's the topping. It's all about the topping, isn't it? And and one thing that Sherry does that kind of adds even more to it is when we're connecting, and they say, I can introduce Sherry. I can introduce you to so and so. And Sherry said, that'd be great. If it would help you, I can send to you this template I have to introduce us. And then all of a sudden you're building a relationship. You're also helping and adding value to the person that then they can then in turn use that same template. So the relationship building is win-win, right? You're adding value, you're receiving value. It's a win-win relationship. That is the best way to connect with people.
Hey,
it's just a little blurb.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Sherry.
Yeah, no, sorry. It's just a blurb. And that's why I said I was just trying to keep it to the next level, is to have it easier on the next person if they do need to introduce me or us to someone, then they will have to sit there and rack their brain
to remember
or, but and they could spin it however they want, but 9 times out of 10, it is very nice when you yourself has written a little couple sentence of a blurb. So that way, the next person, when you do get introduced, it's like, oh, I know exactly. They have that clear picture.
Right. Keep it nice and simple. Hey, this has been great. I have loved going deep onto this subject, and we got through one item, I believe, and we're going to have to cut it short. We'll have to come back and hit the other 4. But I'm so glad. I am glad and I am sad. I'm sad we didn't get to the others, but I'm glad we got to get deep in this one a little bit. So that's great. Lou and Sherri, how can someone get in touch with you if they want to know more?
Well, we're everywhere, and so but our website's the best way to get with us is, and it's www.loueverettgroup.com, or check us out on Facebook, loueverettgroup.com, or LinkedIn the same way, the Lou Everett Group, right? So, or just Google us. We're everywhere. So feel free to reach out to us. That's the best way to get a hold of us.
Perfect. That's great. And what is the one thing from that one topic we talked about that might be an action step or something someone can take away? Just one sentence.
Mm-hmm. Right now, after this is finished up and you finish watching Joe's podcast, you need to go through your current list and see who is it right now that I can add value to immediately that I may not know so well.
That's
pick
perfect.
Up the phone,
you guys
pick up the phone, call them up, email them, connect with them on Facebook, say, how can I help you?
You guys are great, and thank you for being here. And I'm sure we'll have more podcasts with you because you guys have so much information. It's been fantastic talking with you.
No, you're very welcome, Joe. Thanks
Yeah.
for having us. It's awesome. Thank you.
Bye now.